today, this envelope came in the mail, and I'm like, and it says Guinness World Records. So I think this is my official Guinness World Record.
We're opening it live here. You're going to be the first to see it.
We're opening it live here.
So welcome back to Utah Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Peter Anthony. Today is bananas, my new favorite word. I am with one of my, so often we find people that are, you want to say, well, they're like a hero. She's sort of heroic, but really the standard that we should all be looking towards as she's figured out ways to not only navigate finances, but to navigate up to the top of mountains, become a crazy Guinness Book of World Records holder, do the most insane things, manage 7 children, build empires, and still have time to be on this podcast. It makes no sense, but it's spicy. Told you I'd get that word in, right?
Did.
And she's here with us today, my friend Jenn Drummond. She lives in Park City. She is here just rocking it out. Jenn, how are you?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited to spend time with you.
Thank you. I'm really the one who's being blessed right now because your time, you're all over the world, Jenn.
Yeah.
Like you're being courted to film reality shows, you're climbing up mountains, you're working on documentaries, you have multiple retreats coming up, you're taking your children on these crazy adventures. We're going to break it all down with you, what she's up to, how she builds out an incredible calendar that keeps her excited, moving, and close to her family. Is that cool?
I love it. I'm here for it. Yes.
So let's talk about what inspired, back in August, you took one of your children to college.
Yes. Yes.
And let's talk about that because that inspired you to rearrange the next year because it was an aha moment for you.
Very much so. Very much so. Well, so I took my son Jack to the University of Arizona. And when I brought him there, that reality of Sunday night dinners are not the same. And everyday moments are not the same because he's no longer going to be at the table. And I looked back at my life. I'm like, I have 6 more kids that are going to launch over the next 5 years. I need to be so intentional about how I spend these next 5 years because I'm never going to get them back.
Yeah. And I love the vocabulary that you integrate into your life. So it's not that children that are going to be gone, but children that are going to launch. And the use of language is so important to you. And it should be important to all of us because that really determines and dictates how they're seeing themselves as launching and versus being, like empty nester. You could have used the same language, but made it more negative, but instead you're making it positive. So now you're looking, the other 6 are going to launch. I'm in the same position. My 3 are launching, starting this year. So I'm following you intently because I want to learn. It's so important to spend that time. I know this is the 7th year of your 7th anniversary of your car accident.
Yeah, right? Like another one of those milestones that I set, or the car accident happened and it became a milestone for me, where you look back and you say, those 7 years, look what I did, look what I accomplished, look who I got to be introduced to or have relationship with or build with. And I think it helps when we look at our lives in these smaller little blocks and go big sprints on those. So that when we look at the marathon, which is our entire life, we have all these memories and these little moments that we get to fall back on and replay in our minds.
Which, again, another piece of perspective. And I love that you look at them as blocks. If you compare the 7 years prior to the 7 years that just passed, it's an interesting comparison because everything that you've compacted into the last 7 years, besides climbing like 1 trillion summits, right? Winning like all these kinds of world records, right? You're a world record holder, you're a Guinness Book of World Record holder, right? You're doing some really cool things. You take your son, you drop him off at the University of Arizona. Now you're thinking about the other 6. And it changed a little bit of the trajectory of the year because you had it planned. And then you're like, oh, hold on a second. I'm going to be pliable in this moment so that I can rearrange to get more of what I want. Tell me where you're going this coming August.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened was I'm like, okay, I need to think of activities that are cool enough that my kids are going to want to hang out with me. Because there's a lot of competition for their time right now.
Yeah.
So you have to come up with these great ideas that they'd be like, I'm going to give up that so I can hang out with my mom, and maybe not even understand that that's the consequence of what they're deciding. But for me, I decided, okay, we're going to do a trip to Mont Blanc, and we're going to ski that mountain, which is the highest point in Europe if you exclude Russia. I'm going to do that in April. And not all of my kids are at that ski level. So I'm going to do Kilimanjaro again in August. And we're going to tack on a little safari. But for me, I love doing hard things with my kids because I just think it builds their confidence. It causes us to lean into each other. We all falter at different moments. So it really bonds us on a different level. And so I'm putting in these vacations or these experiences to build time with them. You have to train for these things. And so I get to train with them.
That's so cool. And it's really a brilliant way to parent, right? Because you were going to do, I mean, you happen to be in a sport that is it's conducive to the idea,
Right.
but we all have these things that can be conducive to the idea. We can build them into our lives. And so many of us don't take the time and the energy and the effort to look at it quite that way. And now, and you said, yeah, I'm going to train with my kids, and they have no idea that it's a selfish act. But in the gift that you're giving them is selfish to you and will be it'll be priceless to them 30 years from now.
I think so.
They don't even know it.
I think so. Well, I took my older kids to Kilimanjaro before. And of course, during the experience, I don't think they loved it the most. But now after the experience and they had all that success, that's one of their highest moments that they talk about. When people ask, like, what are things that you're most proud of? That comes up on every one of their lists. So much so that when I'm taking my younger kids, I didn't think the older ones would want to go again. They've already done it. They're like, oh, no, we're going again. We want to see if we can beat the little ones up the mountain and who's going to win. And I mean, they're just having that sibling rivalry. And I love it that they're choosing to come again instead of saying, no, we're going to sit this one out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So we reverse engineer. So you plan out the next year to hit Kilimanjaro in August.
Yep.
But then you, of course, took it even a little further where some select people might even get to come with you.
Yes. Yeah. So I think it's fun for them to have these experiences with other people. And I know for me, when I led the last group up, we had all different walks of life. And you have all this time at base camp where you get to share stories and experiences. And for children, I think it's really important for them to be comfortable talking to adults. I also think it's important for them to see that, hey, this adult's struggling and I'm not. And so all of a sudden that adult becomes a peer at some level. And so when they go into school or interviews or classrooms, they feel more at ease because they're saying, oh, this isn't somebody that's older, so they're better. This is somebody that's older, so they have more experience. How can I pull that knowledge and integrate it into me? And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have some friends that are coming without kids. I have some friends that are coming with kids. And I have a couple slots left open for people that we think would be a good fit.
Oh, I think it's going to be amazing. It's ridiculously affordable, which I love. Like you're going to, could you imagine you're climbing Kilimanjaro with the world record holder, which that in and of itself, and then you can take one of your children and that experience is just bonding. And then you're going to follow that with, of course, you're going to get to see the big five, right?
Yes, that's the point.
Safari.
Right, like do the hard thing and then recharge in the wild and see all the wild animals and then fly home. And we start the fall again with our routines and school and everybody gets busy. So it's this last connecting point before we transition into what sometimes people call as September's the new year.
Yeah,
right.
And that new school year. So I'm looking at two things, and I can't keep my eyes off of one of them. Well, but let's talk about the littler one first.
Okay.
What that looks like a passport. Can you pull it over?
I do. I brought my passport because it came in the mail today.
Show us the back of the passport first. Look at how cool is that? Like everybody wants all those stamps, but you have something really special.
Stamp. This is Antarctica. So there we go. That's
a
stamp.
Cool stamp, man.
Yeah. No, I have something super special. So next year, 2026, my goal is to climb 3 more summits. I'm calling it Project Climb Higher. And it will give me another world record as the first and only woman to climb all the highest and the second highest points out there. And you might be like, well, I thought the second highest were harder. They are, but I'm so sick of people asking me why I haven't climbed the highest. I'm like, fine, we're going to climb the highest. So Mont Blanc's part of that project, which the boys are going to do. And then I have to go to Russia and climb Elbrus, which is not the easiest country to get into right now. So I've been working my magic behind the scenes. I sent my passport off to Houston. I hired somebody down there to help me. And it just came back that I have a visa to get into Russia. And I'm so excited.
So that'll knock off the 2. What's the third?
The third is Denali.
Oh,
so,
that's what we did last year.
Yeah. So if you have been following my journey in Denali in 2025, I did not summit. My guide got sick, had to be helicoptered off. And so my expedition was done. And so this year,
that was heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking.
Because I was following you day by day,
Yes.
helping post all that to your media. And it was, oh man. And you were gutted.
I was gutted.
But here's what I will tell you. The cool thing is the entire time you were more concerned about the health and safety of your team than you were about summiting. And even though I know and you don't have to disclose, but the cost was a lot.
It was a lot. It's a lot financially. It's a lot emotionally. It's a lot physically. It's a lot when you have kids at home and you're missing time with them. But, and I pouted. Like anybody who's going through a hard time, you have to pout and get all of your pout out. And then once it's out and you're like, okay, this didn't go the way that I wanted it to. Now you have to find the next win.
I like that as a metaphor, get your pout out.
Yeah.
Because you have to give yourself some time to be frustrated and to rage a little. Because when you came home from that, you immediately had to go to your son's graduation.
Yep.
Which was was exciting,
Yes.
right? But it's a big party, bringing everybody in, family, friends, people, big, very cool party, by the way. And then on top of that, like a week later, you had this other big event, right? So you did events and then events. And
then we went to, I took the 2 big boys to Peru.
Yeah.
So then I had that big
Yeah.
So it was like I had no room at home to pout. And here's the thing. If you have something that goes wrong and you give yourself 5 minutes, maybe you need 10, but you give yourself 5 minutes and you just rage as heavy and as hard as you can, you're actually exhausted. And you don't have any more energy to give the rage because 5 minutes of going full at it is like sprinting for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so when I got all that rage out, I realized, okay, there's other people still on this mountain that still have an opportunity to climb this thing. So how do I support them in their journey? Because that's going to be my win. So I left snacks with people. I left Band-Aids with people. I left socks with a person because they didn't bring warm enough socks. And I just did all of that. So when I went down, I felt like there was still parts of me that were summiting, even though it wasn't me physically.
I love that. And you know what's interesting? First and foremost, I'm Italian. I need 15 minutes. Right? But I did an exercise with Jack Canfield, and Jack and I worked together once. And we walked people through this exercise where you would everybody has a to-do list.
Right.
And on your to-do list, you have things that you've never done, but you always want to do. So for me, playing the guitar was like, I'm going to get to it. So then I went out and bought a guitar, and then I put the guitar next to my desk, and it sat there for 3 years. Then I got pissed off at myself. I gave away the guitar. Then I was like, man, I want to still do the guitar. I bought another guitar. I bought guitar lessons. I found the coolest guitar players in the world. I said, I'll build your courses for free. Just teach me. I never learned how to play the guitar, but it'd been on my list for 40 years. So I got up and I screamed for 5 minutes, I will never play the guitar. I'll never play the guitar. I'll never play the guitar. I'm screaming at my partner, and Jack's working me through this process. And you know what was interesting about the rage? When I was done, I no longer want to play the guitar. I think it's better to listen to the guitar. I'm not a guitar player. That wasn't my destiny. It was something that I carried forward for so long. I didn't know how to let it go.
Yeah.
But that 5 minutes of rage created a tremendous amount of space in my brain that now I have capacity to actually fulfill and complete the things that I was already in love with.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I freaking love it. That's awesome.
5 minutes of rage. That is an incredible, I never thought of it the way you just said it. Again, I'm Italian, 15 minutes. It's always 15 minutes, ladies. 15, that's it. That's all I got. But 15 minutes of rage is really powerful. So you plan the end of the year, which is, we're calling a year because we're parents, September to September, right? So now you've got the end of the year, but then in between then or now and August, you've got a bunch of things coming up.
I do.
So you're going to do Mont Blanc, you're going to do Russia, you're going to do, what's the third one? Denali. And then you'll own a second Guinness World Record.
Right.
Incredible.
I'm pretty excited.
And the only female to have both.
Yes, both sets.
Yeah. Only one in the whole world. How do you do that? And it's not, but you didn't grow up a mountain climber.
No, I didn't. I climbed my first mountain when I was 40. Right.
Last year?
Yeah, right, of course. Wait a minute. Let's scratch that. Wait, when I was 19. Yes.
Wow. So you did your first one, and that's when most people are retiring and you're just coming out.
Yeah, and I think, it's helpful because I listen to all these health span and longevity spans and all these different things. And so my brain has decided 40 is the new 20, right? And so I'm allowed to reinvent and do these things. And it's what you're exposed to, which makes things real.
And, again, if you picking up on Jenn's language, just really listen to it because it's so positive and so motivational. Like you're your own motivational speaker. It's pretty incredible. I love listening to you. And I love the cool, spicy words that come out of our conversations. But now I'm staring at another envelope. And what's in that one?
Yes.
Tell us what's in that.
Okay. I haven't even opened this yet, friends. I am so excited about this. Funny story. I have been in the Guinness World Record website for a while, and they would not send me a certificate. And I don't know what was wrong. I'm like, why is there a glitch in the system? What's happening? Then I end up in the Guinness World Record books, which I'm like, what happens if someone's lied to me and they said it's not real? I was hosting a party to celebrate it. And thankfully, it did end up on page 86 because they said it was, but I'm like, maybe they changed it right before it went to the printer. I printed a book. We cut out a chapter before it went to the printer. And literally today, this envelope came in the mail. And I'm like, and it says Guinness World Records. So I think this is my official Guinness World Record. We're opening it
live here. You're going to be the first to see it.
We're opening it live here. That's only taken me years to request and get. So the fancy envelope, they want to make sure it doesn't bend. And then comes out of there. Look at the fancy certificate.
Officially amazing. That is cool.
So it's when you don't open it, you're like, well, this. Okay, so the first woman to climb the 7-second summits is Jenn Drummond, USA. Began climbing the second highest peaks on each of the 7 continents on 16th of December of 2020, Ojos del Salado, and finished on June 1 of 2023, Mount Logan. To allow for variable definitions of Australasia, she also scaled Sumantri in Indonesia on October 9 of 2024.
Wow, congratulations. That is so cool, man.
This is going on the wall at my house.
Yes, for sure.
For sure. In that fancy envelope.
I'm really proud of you. Your kids must go bananas every time they see you do something.
My kids like to humble me. I think all of our kids like to humble us. No matter how cool we are or we are for a few seconds, they bring us back down to reality in no time. That's
awesome. So now I know that you're doing a couple of other things because you own masterminds and retreats. You own a couple of other companies. You're a savant in the financial space, and I know everybody seeks you for financial advice. Like you're really like the James Bond girl. You're like super hot. You know, there's probably a gun in that dress somewhere, right? Hiding. And at the end of the day, you're just ridiculously accomplished in multiple areas. And then you share that accomplishment with other women and how they can stay in their zones of excellence as well. What do you have coming up this year where people can join you?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a couple retreats that I'm hosting up in Park City. They're weekends. So the last weekend in February and then a weekend in March.
And they can find that at jenndrummond.com?
Yep, jenndrummond.com. I also started a call this year called the Summit Series. And the Summit Series is on Tuesday nights. And it's basically either me or other experts that have reached the summit of something in their lives. They're sharing that knowledge to help you reach the summit in yours.
Oh, wow.
It's been awesome.
How do people sign up for that? That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's jenndrummond.com/summit. My last call, well, it was super fun. We did it on the Odyssey plans. Mm-hmm. And what you do is you pretty much make 3 different plans of your life. The one you're currently living, and you blow it out for 5 years. If this one died today, what would be something you could do right away? That would be your second plan. And then your third plan is your dream plan. And it's so fun to go through there because I just did this exercise myself. My son just did this exercise because he's thinking of changing colleges. I'm like, okay, well, let's see one plan if you stay, one plan if you move, and this crazy plan you have of quitting college and becoming an entrepreneur, blow those all out and let's see how it really plays out. And then he built it. And it was just super fun to talk through and experience and look at and see if there's themes among those different plans that you really want to like hone in, or if there's things that you're like, well, this is a stretch and we'll see if it happens in a 10-year plan, maybe not a 5-year plan. So that was last week's call, which was super fun.
Love it.
Yeah. So the calls are awesome.
They're once a week?
Once a week.
Great.
Yep.
Great. Everybody should get involved in those calls. That's a simple thing for you to add to your life that you can take yourself to the next level and experience the energy that's necessary to keep you motivated. And you only have to stay motivated for 6 days because then there's another call. I love that product.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, Jenna. I'm always super proud of you, but man, you're a stud.
No, this one's been fun. This one, and it's been fun seeing who's on the call, and it's been fun seeing how the call grows, right? Yeah. And just getting the feedback from that. So definitely doing the 2 retreats. Going to have the trip to Kilimanjaro in August.
If you guys want to, or if anybody's interested in the trip to Kilimanjaro, by the time you see this, it might be sold out. But reach out to Jenn on her website, ASAP, jenndrummond.com. It's really important because to me, if you could do one thing, having been to Kilimanjaro with Tony Robbins and just experiencing that, if you could do one thing with your children, that is a cool thing. If you could do one thing by yourself and just the people you meet, it's insane. It's life-changing. Honestly, that's a life-changing trip.
Yeah, no, 100%. And one of the people that wanted to go was like, hey, would you mind running a trip to Everest Base Camp? I'm like, if we can pull enough people together, I'm open for Everest Base Camp too. So if Kilimanjaro isn't something that sounds exciting, but there's something else, reach out. We'll see what we're doing.
I love it, man. That's cool. Kilimanjaro is a good one though too, because you don't have to be like even chubby guys like me get to the top, right?
It's a very, very high success ratio.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, and it's over a series of days. So you're hitting camp to camp to camp, correct?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. So what recharges you? Tell me. You live in Park City. Yes. You live in one of the best places in the world. You have an incredible, incredible family. You're doing world-class things. You're winning awards. You're world record holder. How do you're planning everything in these blocks, and then you put the blocks together and you see if that's the life that you want, right? Tell me what's one thing that you'd love to do that's not in your blocks, but you're thinking about that you might add one day? Like what keeps you
Well,
sharp?
I get excited because I put things on my calendar that get me excited, right? So I know that if I'm in one of these moods that I don't want to get up or life's not feeling awesome or whatever else like that, that normally means I don't have something cool on my calendar to pull me forward.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You got to put things on the calendar to pull you forward. Again, I love your language. It's perfect. It's perfect. If you could just hang out with her for 30 days, it would change your life. Her language is insanely perfect. I love it. Yeah, but you want to pull yourself forward. And you're in charge of that. Right.
And we forget sometimes, right? Because we're just autopilot. Well, you get to interrupt your autopilot with what you do with your time. So for me also is just getting more time outdoors. I've been to a lot of masterminds this last year, which I've been appreciative of, but I'm in buildings with 4 walls. And so that's really the big reason why I'm hosting these retreats, because my brain runs farther, longer, wider, deeper when I'm outside and there's no wall confining me visually. And so I really want to get people outdoors, and that recharges me, and to be able to share that space with others and let them recharge there, we all come back a better person.
I think it's so important, and I love the way you've positioned that. For the last 40 years, I could tell you I've run masterminds since '89, and I've seen the best hotels in the world, but I can't tell you much about the countries, and it's cool, and I'm grateful, and I'm not complaining, but it's much cooler when you can experience it in the interactive way that you're putting it together. It's my absolute favorite. You put interactive retreats together where people get to really leave your shit at the camp, and let's go up a free person and come down an ultimate human being. I admire you a lot, more than I have gotten to tell you in the past. You're
keep
absolutely
it coming.
amazing. You're beautiful, and we're excited, but we're also out of time. That went fast.
It went fast. Holy
But
cow.
now you're going to be on a big deal Zoom call
Yes.
And I know everybody's chasing you. You have a potential documentary coming up that you're looking into. You've got reality shows that are just really trying to get that energy, right? You're going to teach the producers more about life than, you're just doing great things, man. I'm so proud of you. Again, how can people get in touch with you, and how can they follow you? Right. I love your Instagram. It's Jenn Drummond.
Yep. The Jenn Drummond on Instagram, jendrummond.com. We're going to have tracking devices when we do these climbs. We're going to give dispatch episodes every single day to keep people involved. So check in, say hi, join the newsletter, join the Summit Series call. We have a place for you for sure.
Absolutely. And if you're a local Utah businessman, you got to reach out to her and find out about sponsorship opportunities on some of these retreats that you're doing. That'd be great. We love you. Thank you so much for taking your time. Hey, man, share this with everybody. If you want to introduce the coolest woman in Utah to everybody, share, subscribe. We love you, Jenn Drummond. Thank you so much.
Yay.